Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another One Piece chapter review. Chapter 1082. Let's go and take it. I am very late on this chapter review as the early scanlations of 1083 are out, but the Viz one is not out yet, though I have a feeling I might miss one of the versions for Viz coming up next My Hero stream, but that's for another thing. But yeah, but this chapter came out early during, let's see, from a scanlation when it was supposed to be Golden Week that week, so it had to be a week delayed and all that stuff. The official one, I meant to review it on the Sunday, but I got too busy, and now I'm figuring the only time I'm going to try and do this chapter is now before I pile up and all that stuff. Granted, I'm not going to be trying too long, but of course, there's probably a lot to talk about. But yeah, 1082nd chapter. All right, but before we begin, we've got a reader request from Chopper's which the reader request was someone confusing Chopper, or Chopper being confusing Zeus for a cotton candy, and nearly eating him by Kana Kamadia. And we see what appears to be Prometheus in the sun smiling down as Chopper over a rainbow, as Chopper is chewing on Zeus's clouds at the corner of his face, and him not being happy about it, while they seem to be on top of clouds. It's a sort of like nice, cute little thing, and yeah, it's kind of cool just to see. It'd be kind of funny to see if this actually happens in the actual manga series at some point, but I doubt it will happen. But who knows? Granted, with this, and I think another cover with Luffy and like Prometheus before, this has led to some speculation that Big Mom will. Oda's been drawing so much of Big Mom's homies that she's going to return at some point for like possibly Elbaf. Though personally, I think people are looking too into it. I think that's just Oda just drawing fun cover stories, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, anyway. On to the actual chapter. I'm going to be breaking into parts of what I review and summarize, as there's quite a few bits with One Piece. Anyway, the chapter begins with the news announcement that Vice Admiral T-Bone, a man who is beloved by both Navy and citizens alike, has been assassinated and all that stuff, which was a shock to the world, but no details on how he ended up dying. But we see at Navy HQ, you have, Sengoku and I believe it's Suryu. Yeah, Suryu. Discussing about it and all that stuff. And let's see that the killer is. They're unable to find the killer, but let's see the family has been paid well off and all that stuff. And let's see with Sengoku's who aren't knowing now what they're going to do since how can the Marines do their job if they're worried about being stabbed in the back by the citizens they're supposed to protect? Thinking how it's a sickening thing, but yeah. And not to mention with with Hasu saying it can't be helped that once, bounties on Navy officers are about, since pirates won't be the only one that wanted to try and collect the money and all that stuff. And not to mention how this all happened because in the place where T-Bone was assassinated was the Pepe Kingdom, where apparently 1,000 people die a year due to hunger. So yeah, it's a very poor country, and so that poverty and money will probably be a huge motivation for people to do the dirty deed. Though saying, of course, you wouldn't really excuse that, but let's see. But this is like if this was really the goal of Buggy the Genius Jester, then they've underestimated, overlooked it, and all that stuff. But yeah. With Sengoku wondering how can they risk their lives to help people if they're worried about being killed in the back by them and all that stuff. So Sengoku realizes just how big of a threat the Cross Guild is, so they better strike them down the sooner the better, of course. Otherwise, the morale of all the Navy troops will weaken and they won't be able to do their job properly. But anyway, Hina arrives and Sengoku ends up asking her if she's seen Garp, as there's like a new flavor crackers he wants to try out, but she informs him that he said he's heading to go save Kobe and took sword with them, including Kakaju. No, that stuff. Much to the shock of let's see Suyu and Sengoku, and they realize he's gone to Hachinosu or Fuled, depending on the translation. But yeah. Okay, first of all, T-Bone, the fact that we're getting a death of some named Navy characters and T-Bone of all people, off screen, granted, but still, granted, we're getting deaths of Marines, so yeah, and it's T-Bone who, for those who remember, is like the Navy captain who fought Sorrow during the water train thing, who was like 100 good deeds a day kind of thing, a very, let's see, moral justice Marine and all that stuff. He was a former knight, so yeah, he's got quite the quirky personality, so those who remember him will remember him for that. But granted, his fate was, I think, rather unknown in the manga. Until the Navy arc, he was promoted to a rear admiral, in which he tried to get Fujitora to leave Marine boats, but he managed to get out on the technicality of it not being a Marine base. But it seems like he's been promoted sometime soon, and only just to be assassinated. It kind of reminds me of that one episode, that first episode of Clone Wars after the movie, where you have that droid looking for Yoda, the droid command, the lieutenant looking for Yoda, or droid commander, or something. 2241 something, I don't know. And Yoda, as Yoda's taking out the droids, he's like, "But I just got promoted." Let's see. I wonder if I could see something similar with T-Bone, but then again, some are leading to speculation that he might have just allowed himself to be offed. But yeah. But the fact that we've got this named character, by the way, he seems to have got a straight mustache, which I think is kind of funny. But yeah, I guess it's just part of like fitting with his like a sword style attack, since he likes the more straight swords rather than katanas. No, it'd be very interesting to have Zoro actually fight a proper knight, but yeah, and for a full-on battle, not just like a quick skirmish. But yeah, I do like how Zoro gave the guy respect, but who knows whether or not, I don't know if we'll ever get Zoro's reaction to this death. But yeah, but his death in many ways solidifies the fact that he became a vice admiral. Solidifies the fact that, oh my God, Cross Guild is indeed a threat, and you have like the two of the three Marine veterans commenting on all that stuff and all that stuff. Though I do find it a bit ironic how Sengoku kind of goes like, "Oh, it's sickening about how Ursons would shoot the Navy and all that stuff, given the fact that you've probably helped with the Navy do some government do some dark things with the Navy, particularly with like Orihara, but who knows? But yeah, but still, it's like but yeah, it's like in many ways, it's just like it just works. It's just how it's gone and all that stuff. Like you just see the impact, in which I think many expected it to be the case, but we're now actually seeing the results with a vice admiral being killed. Is that citizens are now actually going after Marines, and not just them, not just pirates or bounty hunters. They're being attacked by civilians, particularly ones who are desperate and poor enough, as we learned that this death happened in a kingdom called the Pepe one, in which 1,000 die a year. It's like, yeah, no wonder they were going for the chance of killing Marine. They want to try and get money for them and all that stuff, and the person who killed him got enough money for his family and all that stuff. So yeah. But this will lead to like the Marines trying to think about, okay, we gotta get rid of Sengoku saying we gotta get rid of Cross Guild as soon as possible. Otherwise, the morale of the Marines will go down, especially as citizens are like going to attack them, and that means they can't really protect. But it also goes to show just how much of the world governments, world nobles with their heavenly tributes, taking all the money and resources from all these kingdoms, just gives way to like for an organization like Cross Guild to take advantage of it. It's like the world government is not going to help me with the money and all that stuff. My best bet is to take these bounties out on Marines and give it to this Cross Guild pirate group. So yeah, it shows just how really effective it is and all that stuff. So yeah, let's see. I do like how Sengoku wants to be buddies with like Garp, and this now just wants to enjoy crackers with him and all that stuff. It's interesting the fact that Hina actually knew for like a few days that Garp went with like Ugachu and Sword. And it's like and she's only this now telling them, and they're just like wait, what? And like they're both shocked, like I can't believe Garp would do this. And in many ways, they're like the marine trio of of the past generation. Like I guess you could say like the really old Sanin, if you will. Though except one of them not defecting, but yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised that with the fact that Garp has taken sword and arguably Kakaju's let's see, Suyu's granddaughter, though some are theorizing that with those two talking like this, she might also be Sengoku's, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. Well, we know it's that she could just have, let's see, a life outside the Marines, but yeah. But we'll see with Garp possibly going with Kujiku. That might have both of them enough reason to go try and rescue Garp himself. We have to wait and see because I assume that, let's see, Oda has something planned, these two. And whether or not to try and go rescue Garp after this whole thing, we'll have to wait and see. It would be funny if Sengoku and Tsuyu end up encountering Luffy at some point. Let's see, Luffy might just remember him from Marineford, but who knows? It'll be interesting to see Sengoku reacting to Luffy after he stepped down as fleet admiral because he found him annoying as a pesky pest. But for now, yeah. Let's see. But at the moment, it seems the Marines are taking Buggy seriously now. In many ways, they're like the rest of to continue to overestimate him when it's actually Crocodile being the brains. But speaking of which, we now cut to Empty Bluff's new world. Let's see, Buggy, the Cross Guild's headquarters and all that stuff, where the person who'd killed T-Bone is being greeted, being called like a hero. Or new kingpin of evil has arrived and all that stuff, and we see he's this poor old man and all that stuff who looks all dirty and bruised and thinking saying how he heard the money got sent to his family, so he's happy about that. With Buggy congratulating him, calling him like a champion of evil for eliminating a vice admiral from the Navy headquarters. Let's see. Talking about how his actions, of course, are panicking the Marines, and they're trying to find his head and all that stuff. But let's see, the guy doesn't care, even if he never gets to see his family again, as long as they are fed. It's better than them being starved to death. As we see a flashback of them starving, I'm so hungry, and you probably see him trying to cuddle them or trying to assure them and all that stuff. But yeah. But anyway, Buggy invites the guy into his pirate crew. With his much of a surprise, but the others are saying that let's see, Buggy is taking you in as one of theirs and all that stuff, and he's one of the 4 emperors, so he's not your average pirate, even though he's worse than that. But yeah, so let's see, and he's got an audience with him, and they're all just congratulating him. One of them, I think, looks like the guy that showed Buggy the poster from the beginning. I could be wrong, but yeah. I couldn't be surprised, but yeah. They're all just saying, behold, Buggy in the flesh, Buggy in the flesh, as it's a chant, saying just how glad he is in his presence. But yeah. But you got someone, let's see, telling Buggy that, sorry to interrupt him, but accidentally calls him, Baggy in the flesh instead of Buggy, which ends up getting him angry, saying, "Are you calling me flabby?" But he ends up telling him that the Cross-Grilled flagship is finally ready. With we're getting a bit of a flashback where Buggy tries to assure Hawkeye and Crocodile just leave it to him to build the ship, since he's got the best shipwrights or working for him and all that stuff, so they can do a good design. But clearly he seemingly neglected to tell them what to do and not to do on the ship, as the Cross Guild ship looks like has a circus clown or tent on it, as I think the main cabin bit, with his cross sword mark, but with Buggy's head on the mast and all that stuff, so as the figurehead, if you will. And they all think it's good, but Buggy is just shocked and just terrified, especially with his dark face, as Crocodile and Mihawk are behind him, as he realizes that they're not going to be happy at this. And they both say, let's see, you want us to ride on that clown ship, so they tell him that. They want to have a little talk with him in the meeting room, as he just got Buggy's crew, let's see, Celeste followers just being congratulations on the ship and all that stuff. But Buggy's men, actual crew outside, listening to the torture he's getting, and we see him being hung up on a hook in a torture room. I think you even see his spikes in the chairs on one of the pages, but yeah. But clearly, Crocodile and Hawkeye have just been just finished beating him up, and now they're discussing plans on what to do. As a comment on how public opinion of Crossguild has been like very positive, and the Navy is starting to take them as a very serious threat that they pose, and it's revealed that Crocodile is still planning to try and build a utopia, all that stuff, in a military nation strong enough that can resist any foreign power. Mihawk realizes that they need overwhelming strength to do this, though Buggy just wants them to kill him just because he doesn't want to keep being beaten up like this. Let's see, but Buggy's starting to think how this is all wrong for him. This is not really the life he wants. Let's see, as Crocodile continues to say, in order to buy that overwhelming strength, they'll need to build a massive... Though Buggy then interrupts him by going out, you're talking about wealth and power, right? Well, let's see, asking permission to speak freely and all that stuff. And even though he'd probably be killed for saying what he did, but he feels like, let's see, he gets off his chest. Well, are these two really thinking like pirates? After all, they're going after some small-time goals with this, but Hawkeye is just like annoyed, saying, "What's this little cockroach?" Or let's see, or depending on which chapter you read it, some translation, or what's this? Let's see, last-ditch attempt of like arguing back at, like, what's a small fry arguing back, pretty much, but yeah. With Buggy just telling him to stop wasting time with these lateral moves or just like these plans and schemes and all that stuff. As both you got Hawkeye and Crocodile listening. As Buggy talks about how he's heard that Shanks is now on the move and all that stuff. And that tells him how they both rode on like the Pirate King's ship, but they were never able to go to Earthtail due to certain reasons, which was, of course, him being sick. Let's see, and tells them to think back when they were young. What did they want to be when they were first became pirates? Let's see. And he talks about how he could have, and we get a bit of a flashback to the day, about Buggy, where we can see that Shanks had all the more promise, and he was the one with all the potential amongst the apprenticeships. He gave up as his dream as he realized he could probably never really beat Shanks. But I think you see Roger patting Shanks on the straw on his straw hat at the time, and puts his sword seemingly from a training thing, while Buggy looks from behind. But then we go to the day of when Buggy and Shanks departed on the day of Roger's execution. With Buggy telling Shanks, and we're getting it from Buggy's point of view, asking Shanks, then you said you want to go take the One Piece and all that stuff and go to Laughdale one day. We feel like Shanks saying yeah, but he's decided that he's changed his mind and feels like he doesn't want to go there just yet. With shocking Buggy, but he still wants to be a pirate, but Buggy ends up thinking that, I've misjudged Shanks are not who I think you are. You're supposed to be the next king of the pirates and all that stuff. You're supposed to be Roger of their generation, Roger's successor. But then Shanks trying to invite Buggy, of course, but Buggy says, "I'm not going to work under you, idiot, you coward." Thinking how it was supposed to be Roger's wish that you'd follow in his footsteps. And Buggy using the excuse of the treasure map that apparently he lost due to Shanks making him swallow the devil fruit, saying he hasn't forgiven him, saying that next time they meet they'll be enemies, as he runs off, and then becomes the sort of like the East Blue pirate that's rather infamous there, but rather weak and pathetic outside the New World. But yeah, But now let's see after Buggy's explained the story to them, since now Shanks is finally making this move after all these years, too late to join him and all that stuff. But ironically enough for him, whether by fate or accident, he's now reached the same status as him now. So like Yonko. So if he's gonna try and go it, he's gonna go. He wants to be the king of the pirates himself and go after the One Piece, saying how power, wealth, we will have it all. Let's go take the greatest treasure the world has ever known. But at this point, Shanks and Crocodile are had enough of Buggy's words. So you have, I believe, Crocodile, I believe, attacking Buggy. Let's see, attack Buggy, I assume with his hook, or maybe even using his sand abilities or something. But shoves him down to like a, let's see, I think arguably one of the torture devices, maybe the chair or something. But yeah, with him being mad, saying that thinking about how Buggy seems to have gotten cocky about himself, since there's a false title. This title can create a false sense of superiority, since thinking that Buggy's become so full of himself now. Let's see. Since remember. Let's see, since they're only and depending on which translation I think you've read, saying that, let's see, you're only a Yonko because it benefits us. We're only using your title because it benefits us and all that stuff. There's Hawkeye, let's see, ends up talking about how, do you actually think you can persuade us into doing this and all that stuff? With Crocodile saying how Buggy has no plan, no preparation, saying how this is ridiculous. Pirating is about business, and this is how Crocodile sees it. And the Hawkeye comments about how red hair, black beard, and straw hat, telling Buggy you expect us to go fight them for you. Well, and all that stuff, or fight them all at once. But Buggy ends up telling them that no, you just have to beat them to the punch. That's the only rule with treasures. Finders keepers, saying that we don't have to fight them directly. We just got to beat them to the curve or let them do all the fighting. But yeah. But Hawkeye just tells I think they're trying to shut Buggy, but Buggy tries to remember the passion they might have had with those words that used to inspire people. All the pirates, of course, search out to sea, implying that both Crocodile and Hawkeye once did so themselves. Well, we know that from a cover story with Crocodile with Baroque books. But then he ends up, but next to Buggy is a Dendin Mushi, now connecting to the entire Cross Guild. But you have, I think, I believe Hawkeye stepping on him, trying to stop him. Anyway, just telling to his crew, you all went to seek out for your dreams and all that stuff. But the crew realizes that, is Buggy about to kindle the light of their innocence in their younger days as pirates, and telling them all to search for their soul and find the meaning for this, as their lives could be shot and taken at any moment. But so don't be cowards and just aim for, don't be settled with the status quo and all that stuff. Reach out for what you all remembered for wanting to do. And telling them all to let's go to claim the One Piece. As you get all the crew cheering along, yeah, Buggy! For igniting their own nostalgia. But you got Crocodile and Hawkeye furious, thinking like, are you kidding me? Is this a joke? Furious that Buggy, in a sense, has forced their hands to go after the One Piece, even though they don't want to. Okay, first of all, the man. The man we saw from earlier. Let's see, the old man who seems poor and battered and all that stuff. From the looks of things, this is the guy who killed T-Bone. And many people, depending on who you're thinking, is like, no, T-Bone, why? Or T-Bone, man, you're pathetic. Depending on the review. But I think most, or at least an initial reaction. But I think most people realize that okay, this guy could not beat T-Bone in a fair fight. So it's led to some speculations. Either T-Bone did not fight back, or he was trying not to do it, as most mean things. He got, caught off guard while at the Kingdom, or due to his sort of good need of nature, and his motto saying, do 100 good deeds a day, decided to sacrifice his life so this man could feed his family, and this would be the ultimate good deed he could do. So they feel like he might have done it. Some believe like he's just hiding, pretending to be dead, but whether or not, let's see, I'm going to assume that Oda's going to keep him dead at the very least, but if it's not the case, oh well. But then Oda really is playing the whole, let's see, I refuse to kill any characters card, but given the fact that we've seen him kill off some characters off screen before, like first Cobra, let's see, before that we had Absalon from with the Blackbeard Pirates with Shiryu taking his devil fruit. Cobra was killed off screen, though we might get to see that in a flashback. We're probably going to see that in the flashback. And now T-Bone, so yeah. It seems that Oda at the very least is willing to kill characters, of course, and they're off screen, but yeah. But at the moment we're seeing civilians but before we know the civilian he allowed himself to do it, given the fact that we see this guy's family starving. But yeah. But it's interesting to see that this guy is joining the crew being praised as a champion of the underworld and evil and all that stuff. And it's being welcomed into the crew and all that stuff. But yeah. I do kind of like but it's interesting that how this guy's like we see the desperation that Sengoku and Suya talked about, how even if he can't see his family again, as long as they're being fed well and healthy and all that stuff, it's better than them starving to death. So it's like he did the sacrifice for his family, which you can really sympathize, and I think even Suya understands, but he doesn't, even if she doesn't agree with it. But it's pretty much this man has caused the Navy to panic and all that stuff, so they're now after his head. But let's see, it might be hard to do so when he's being recruited as a pirate into Cross Guild as in many ways, this is a very brilliant way of to increase Cross Guild's number. Bounty hunters, civilians, whoever targets Marines gets joined in, and they're under protection of a Yonko, even if just with the title of names, when it's actually Hawkeye and Crocodile. And this is arguably one of the reasons why they're only keeping Buggy, because if him being a Yonko means the Marines won't necessarily take direct action, at least not without a plan, even though they probably want to soon. But see, with Buggy's stat as a Yonko, they can't necessarily directly fight unless they're, of course, sword members. But yeah. But anyway, I do like how you got many of the Buggy's men just going, we see gaze on Buggy's presence, Buggy in the flesh, saying just how it's a privilege for this man to be in Buggy's presence, and how he's just above your average pirate, even though Buggy is much weaker. So yeah. I do like how one of them accidentally calls him Baggy in the flesh, and he just gets annoyed by that. Though I think they've learned not to call him Red Nose, but yeah. But it's revealed that this guy has been, but the fact that, we've got a Cross Guild capital ship and all that stuff, but I just love how it's just a recurring joke of Buggy saying, hey, leave all the marketing to me, let my guys do it and all that stuff with the ship, only for that, due to his followers overzealous belief in he's the top dog, he's in charge. The thing of him, putting him in the center. Which I will admit, I do love the Cross Guild ship. I do like the sort of it's more advanced version of Buggy, a more advanced ship than Buggy's initial one. Hold on, let me just see if I can find. Buggy's delivery. I'm going to try and Cross Guild ship. I'm going to try and see if let's see Buggy's old flagship. Let's see, Buggy Pirates. Let me just try and find it. Damn it, I should have gone this. I'm trying to see if I can find the name of their ship. Yeah. It seems to be a more advanced thing. It's a much more advanced big top than all that stuff, but with a more a bigger clown tent, circus tent, Of course, like the cross-guild sword thing at the thing, but of course Buggy's for the mass and all that stuff. And I just love Buggy's reaction because he's like, his teeth popping out, and then just the black face of like crying because he knows Crocodile and Mihawk are not gonna like this ship. They only had the idea of having being Buggy's subordinates and bouncing enough until they decide that we can actually use it as a figurehead, but it's like this ship is humiliating and all that stuff. So what you really expect us to go on it and all that stuff. So and he knows they're gonna beat him up. But yeah, but I just love how it's only like the top officers of Buggy's crew that realize what's going on. But anyway, it's interesting how I do like how the sort of meeting room is sort of like a torture room, probably just to punish Buggy. And since his chair seems to just be torture, but yeah. But it's mainly just them. But it's mainly just for them to talk about business and stuff. And I do like how they're just talking about the success of Cross Guild. And it's interesting the fact that Crocodile's still planning to try and build his utopia, let's see, nation, if you will, as he tried to do that by taking over Alabasta by having let's see, civil war, and then taking over the reins afterwards. And then finding the ancient weapon Pluton, though granted we realized this plan would have failed in the long term since Pluton would be at Wano, and he's probably wasn't gonna go pick a fight with Kaido at the very least. He's not by himself. But yeah, that's interesting and all that stuff. But yeah. But they want to build a nation and all that stuff. And like it's interesting the fact that let's see, this is probably why Hawkeye did, just agree to partner up with Crocodile in the end, because, well, a powerful nation like this would make it very difficult for the Marine, that cannot be strong enough to resist any nation. It means that he won't be bothered by wannabe bounty hunters, swordsmen trying to challenge for his title, or Marines. So it's like, I can relax with this, so yeah, you know what? I'll help you build this unstoppable nation, since it'll give him the quiet life, and he can do what he likes. So yeah, but it's interesting how you've got Crocodile just trying to build that utopia, but now with more like a mercenary organization directly against the Marines, and now Hawkeye just going along with it. But yeah, though Buggy just wants to die, at least from like the torture, at least. But all right, well, not necessarily. But it's like, this is not where I want my life is. I want to be like an actual pirate and all that stuff. But as Crocodile and just thinking like they need to gather resources, Buggy decides to step in. You know what? If you want power and resources, I'm going to speak my mind. Let's see. We should go after the treasure of One Piece. That's the only thing. Even though he knows they're not going to like it. And all that stuff. But it's interesting how he's openly talking about his time with Shanks on Roger's crew, which they're both aware of, and Hawkeye is very familiar with Shanks, but yeah. But he realizes that, let's see, but it's interesting how he seems to imply that both Crocodile, well, we know Crocodile wanted the One Piece, but let's see, Hawkeye was also there. But it's very possible that, let's see, now whether or not, we've never been confirmed what Hawkeye's ultimate goals and motives were. From the sounds of things, he might have wants to go after One Piece himself. We don't know. Though for all we know, I'm starting to theorize that perhaps maybe Hawkeye was in a similar position as Zoro, having a captain he trusted, but then that captain betrayed him, and so and that leads to his trust issues. So that's just a theory on my end. But yeah. But it's interesting to learn that Buggy always just saw himself below Shanks. He's like one promise, as we see flashback of Roger seemingly teaching him. So yeah, okay, he was Roger's favorite, and to be fair, Roger did raise him from an infant, as we learned from the One Piece film Red and the 4 billion data book, which is only information that's been spread online. But yeah. But due to the fact that Shanks was the one with the potential, he gave up on himself going after One Piece and just figured, you know what, I'd just probably be Shanks' underling and all that stuff. But when Shanks was revealed that he was not going to go after the One Piece straight after Roger's execution. Buggy probably felt hurt and felt like this was a betrayal to Roger, their captain, and his expectations, that he decided to just use the treasure map as an excuse thing and say, I won't follow you, I threw it, and all that stuff. And as a result, just became the East Blue pirate as he did. So it's kind of interesting how Buggy just expected Shanks all these things, and he would follow him. But when he didn't, he felt a personal betrayal. And in many ways, this side of the flashback adds a lot more depth to Buggy and all that stuff. Also, a character that's just been taken as a gag for a very long time. And we all thought it was just petty over Shanks because of that one treasure. But no, it seems like what he really is deep down upset about is the fact that Shanks abandoned going after the One Piece until now and all that stuff. So you expected him to be the next Pirate King, but he seemingly gave up on that. So Buggy just couldn't forgive that for him, even though Shanks is probably just acting on what Roger might have silently told him. Let's see, when he came back from Laugh Tale initially, and probably told him all the stuff about Joe Boy and the Gum No Me and all that stuff, which people are predicting. So of course he's going to go. Let's see. He's going to wait until the time is right to claim the One Piece, which is now. But Buggy is now deciding. Let's see. Since he's going for it now, and since he ends up getting the title, even if it's by chance of fate, even though he doesn't really have the strength for it, he wants to reignite his old dream of going to claim the One Piece and be Pirate King himself, which, to be fair, we've heard Buggy say it before, but we've never heard it with such conviction that you've got some people now wondering, let's see, he's now got the will and ambition, perhaps he'll get Conqueror's Haki. Now, I'm not sure if that will be the case, but if it did, oh my god, it's like, hey, let's see, you're letting the actual legend of Buggy come to life, but who knows? But yeah, but the meme of Buggy has just gotten real. Or people have just gotten a lot of respect for Buggy, but of course, saying like with wealth and power, we can have it all and all that stuff. And to be fair, Buggy does kind of make sense with like this whole thing, because with what people were assuming the One Piece is, we're probably able to get all the stuff they need for this Utopia project, but Crocodile and Hawkeye are having none of it. Since they think that Buggy is just like, you've gotten too full of yourself with that false title, even though they've only let's see, only using that for their own advantages. And they're not convinced, as Hawkeye says, but yeah. And yeah, Crocodile's the title. And it's interesting how Crocodile says, let's see, no plan and preparation for it. It's like they don't even have any of the poneglyphs. So, poneglyphs are like, you expect us to go in charging you without a plan, as that's probably what he did when he was younger. But yeah. And we see that Crocodile really does see pirating as a business rather than what Buggy just says of like adventure and treasure hunting. It's interesting to see the fact that Hawkeye says, like, you expect us to take on the likes of Luffy, Blackbeard, and Shanks. And it's interesting the fact that, let's see, we've actually got someone on Hawkeye's caliber comparing Luffy to the likes of Blackbeard and Shanks. And it just goes to show just how far that Luffy's come. And he's actually is a Yonko now, and he's being put on the same level of him that Hawkeye doesn't necessarily want to directly fight the other Yonko and all that stuff, even though he probably feels like even though whether or not he stands a chance against him, though I do think he wants to fight. At some point we'll fight Zoro, but yeah. But it's like, it is interesting the fact that you got actually having someone on Hawkeye's caliber recognizing Luffy's status as an emperor a lot more than, say, Buggy himself and all that stuff. So, yeah. Because technically we've got 3 emperors with the actual powers, though Buggy does have the charisma of an emperor. I mean, technically, let's see, this trio does, in a sense, make an emperor's crew and all that stuff. But yeah. But Buggy says, like, no, we don't have to directly fight them. We can just take a treasure and beat them to the punch. Just grab the treasure, let them fight while we go it, or let them do the fighting. Then we take the treasure afterwards. So yeah, let's see. We just have to be crafty with it, be pirates and all that stuff. But yeah, as Buggy decides, reignite the passions. And to be fair, I think Buggy does make a sense. You don't necessarily have to fight it. I mean, even Usopp says you just have to let's just take the rubbings and that stuff. Of course, Luffy, of course, never would take that because it's an unmanly way, and he wants to be the strongest, and he realizes that the Pirate King should be the strongest. But yeah, but in many ways, I do think Buggy has a point over Crocodile and Hawkeye about avoiding fights, planning, and all that stuff. Let's see. Oh, they just want to build a pirate utopia. In a sense, the One Piece arguably could help them achieve those goals with, like, if it's actually something valuable, as it could draw quite a lot of others to flock to their cause. And who knows? In many ways, perhaps while going for the One Piece, they might themselves be reignited that passion, or at least Crocodile or Hawkeye might actually see some merit to it. And it might actually get some other people joining them. I mean, many people, due to the Chapter Zero with like a Moria and Doflamingo being on the same line of panels as those three, suspect that Moria could end up joining, which, to be fair, Moria could be a very useful military increase with all the dead Marine officers delivered to them. They can use them as a zombie army corpse thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we see T-Bone as a zombie if Moria does join. And there'll be a connection with Perona. And Doflamingo with the whole bounty thing seems very similar to him. Not to mention his connections in the Underworld could cause an alliance between Crocodile and all that stuff. And he did express interest in teaming up before, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, granted, if they do both team up, Moria and all that stuff, and him might have some issues since Doflamingo did try to assassinate him under orders from the world governments. But I do like how Buggy, in a way, that forces Cross Guild to actually be the fourth contender for the One Piece. Shouts at users and then the Mushi, which Crocodile should have really been careful of where he sent Buggy. Ends up just reigniting his entire crew's thing. I just love how, let's see, the crews are like, Buggy's about to reignite that passion, as he says. Let's go carry the One Piece. Take this chance in life, fellas. Speech, and it's like, and that speech just reignites the entire crew. And I just love the look on Crocodile and Hawkeye's face, realizing that, oh no, great, now we have no choice but to actually now search for the One Piece. Because Buggy's reignited the crew and all that stuff, and well, they might be the brains and the manpower and the power. Buggy's the charismatic leader figurehead that he's got the loyalty of the subordinates, so in order to keep them all happy, they're going to have to at least attempt to go for the One Piece. But yeah, but it seems like a four-way battle of the Emperors has at hand. It would be interesting to see Buggy fight Luffy, Shanks, and Blackbeard all at once, or even just one of those individually, even though technically he stands no chance. But who knows? It might be another Foxy situation where Buggy's just using all kinds of tricks to trick someone like Luffy. Or Luffy just doesn't take him serious at first, but forcing him to get stronger and stronger at first, but it makes it look like an epic battle. But who knows? You already got people predicting Luffy versus Buggy, Zoro versus Hawkeye, and Crocodile versus Sanji because of the whole Mr. Prince connection. As Crocodile might still have a grudge on that, but yeah. But either way, the Cross Guild's joining, and arguably Buggy's been given more depth than he's ever been before as a character. But anyway, now for the final bit of the summary. So, but yeah, Cross Guild's on the move, where they will take the unknown factor, the mentor, the protagonist, and the mortal enemy. Me with the sort of anti-heroes and former villains and all that stuff. So yeah. It's just a wild card. So yeah, that'll be fun. But anyway, we cut to the Kambata King Queendom on the Grand Line, where we see a bunch of Vice Admiral revolutionary officers who are revealed to be Vice Admirals spotting a Navy ship, and they're introduced as Vice Captain of Western Forces Ushino, Morley's subordinate, a cow minx that looks goofy and cartoonish who we saw before. The Revolutionary Army Vice Captain Uhura, who was named after a bird, I believe, who is a subordinate of Bella Betty, who was actually named an SBS with a mechanical arm, pointing like she's about to shoot. A sort of Humpty Dumpty guy who I think we also saw before, who is of the Southern Forces, Gumbo, who is apparently Lindbergh's subordinate, the Minx. And this new guy we've introduced who's eating a telescope, who's called Duran, who's the vice captain of Northern Forest, who is Kazu's subordinate, the one that creates the crows and all that stuff. When I'm making, I think Gumbo's making a bet with Duran on like, is it enemy ship or not? But he says like, I'll put $1 million on Sabo's return. With him going like, wait, what? And you've got another revolutionary telling Dragon and Ivanko that Sabo has returned. Let's see, with the, Ivanko being happy and all that stuff, wondering if he's all right. Let's see, we've got Gumbo being annoyed at Duran that, okay, you cheated, you used a telescope to get your way out of $1 million and all that stuff, saying he's not paying, but Duran's going like, yes, you are. But it's like, you sold for the looking grasses, but he says, which ones? But he says, you're eating them right now, and all that stuff. So yeah, that gives an impression that he has some sort of devil fruit eating ability. As the revolutionaries and Okanitmas are welcoming back Sabo and all that stuff. And with a hero saying that he nearly shot at Sabo and all that stuff. That if you let's see if he wasn't for a second there, though Sabo saying that she's glad she didn't and all that stuff. But you've got the cow one, Ushino, saying that I'm just glad you're all right. With Sabo revealed that he's actually got some citizens from the Lucia Kingdom, and they've all decided to like join the revolutionary and all that stuff, and this is their ship and all that stuff. So it's asking them to take care of them. And let's see, and Maud is revealed to be alive amongst those revolutionaries, and it's that she survived her kingdom's destruction, and she's now okay. But yeah, you've got let's see, Cola angry now attacking Sabo, saying like, why didn't we hear a word from you? Do you know how worried you were after your signal went dead? Basically, with Sabo trying to explain that you couldn't get the jamming spawner cells, so the Marines could have intercepted his call. And I think after seeing the Lucia Kingdom being destroyed, it was probably best that it wasn't intercepted, otherwise they'd still be trying to hunt him down. So instead, he just gave one of those free noise indirect call signals with the free noises and all that stuff, saying how it wasn't actually at Lucia and then just offside, Gritzy on the ship recruiting all those people. But you then, after Gritzy Cola trying to kick him, by him dodging, just going like, I'm worried, crying and clinging on to him, saying that I was worried, but Sabo just apologizing. And then you've got Molly, I believe, and Molly jumping, saying, Sabo, why you boys gotta do this to make me worried and all that stuff. But it's like him landing on Sabo and all that stuff. You see, I was just like, this team just like, oh, that's gotta hurt. But yeah. But anyway, you've got Bella Betty remembering the the citizens from Lucia, calling them a bunch of sad sacks at the same time. Saying, well, it's a shame what happened to the homeland. Let's see. But she applauds them for their courage and joining the army and all that stuff. Let's see, telling them that they're rest, and then let's see, clear their heads since they got a long way to go and training and all that stuff. But yeah, you've got quite a few of the people there. But meanwhile, you have Sabo in a private meeting with Dragon and Ivanko, apologizing about what happened with Kuma once he heard it. With Dragon just saying, sorry, you heard your time wasted. Let's see. But Sabo says it's probably harder for you both since you've known him for so long. And Dragon deduces he might have some program directed to always return to Marijua at any moment. But let's see. Ivanko gets to the business saying that, okay, you've asked us to come into this meeting. Clearly something that you don't want to tell the others and all that stuff. But yeah. But Sabo tells them that what he's about to tell them could put their very lives in danger, which surprises, I think, let's see, Ivankov. Sabo telling him how the reverie was or the reverie was truly, or reverie, depending on the translation, was truly something wild thing. As he now stares down Sirius, telling them he was going to tell them everything about what actually happened in the sacred Mretzi land of like Merajizar, ending the chapter. Okay, oh boy, what a way to end this chapter, I will admit. First of all, I do like how we've got introductions of like the vice captains of like the Revolutionary Army's divisions and that stuff. So it's interesting you got like the hierarchy of the Marines. Like first you've got Dragon as the leader, Sabo as the second in command, chief of staff. You've got five revolutionary commanders for different parts of like the Four Blues and the Grand Line, if you will. And then you've got the officers, and you've got them now. Let's see. I do like the sort of designs they all have. They all have goofy, but I assume they must be pretty decently. They must be on at least the same level as, I believe, Inazuma. Sorry, they must be at least decent fighters like them. Though it seems, at least from what we can imply, Ariha, who was the only one that was named beforehand, seems to have got a mechanical arm. Seems to be like she's a cyborg, and maybe him. And some are theorizing she might have Pathista like levels tech if she could shoot down Sabo's ship and all that stuff. So some assume that she must be powerful. But yeah. Although I will admit, with the anime's design of Urioha, I thought she was wearing a helmet, but that's just her hair. But yeah. But I do find it interesting how the other it's interesting. I'm curious about Ushahina. Is he like a sort of goofy mink, or is he a devil fruit user just in a cow hybrid? That is the sort of mystery and all that stuff. And again, we know that revolutionaries have diversity with like giants and minks in it. And it seems like they aren't just strictly separate in all divisions, as you've got the mink, possible mink vice captain with the giant, but still, but yeah. But yes, but it's interesting how they've got all their sort of like goofy personalities. But I do like how let's see, Gumbo is like Limburg seems to be a sort of betting man and gambling, but we've got like Durin, the vice captain for the North and all that stuff. Seemingly eating his own telescope, betting $1 million that okay, I know it's going to be Sabo. So yeah, we've got like this fun interaction amongst these lot, and him going like, "You cheated! You've got a telescope," and he says, "What telescope?" And he's eating it. And if it wasn't the fact that I think Wapple has the munch fruit, everyone assumed that he's got something like a munch ability, but for all we know, he's got a power similar for it, or he can turn some, well, maybe not turn something to food, because he also got that chef from Big Mom's crew, but he's got some ability that allows him to eat a telescope, or perhaps he can create edible foods or something, but I don't know. He's clearly a devil fruit user. One's a cyborg. One is possibly a minx or at least a devil fruit user, a zoning fruit user, and one's a gambler. So yeah, interesting dynamic there. Dynamic there with like the revolutionary commanders. But yeah, Sabo is confirmed to be alive, which I think most people pretty much thought so. I mean, there was apparently some that thought he was dead, but I don't think anyone seriously believed it as well. Well, everyone expected him to be, because it would be pretty anticlimactic if he got blown up from the kingdom. And many people suspected that, yeah, he was on another ship. It turns out he's not the only survivors. He got people from Elusia there, including Moldar, which I think I recall back on chapter in 1060, I wondered if she died there, but turns out, I guess, Oda's not that cruel or not going that dark, and has decided to have the one character people have an emotional attachment most with the Lucia Kingdom actually come and join the revolutionaries. So it's like an interesting arc. Let's see. She helped out. One of Luffy's brothers in the pre-time skip from that cover story. To being now saved by one of the brothers in the post-time skip with Sabo, and is willing to join the revolutionary army. So it'd be interesting to see whether or not she can fight and all that stuff. But yeah, I do like how Bella Betty's just complimenting these weaklings, as she calls them, for having the guts to stand and fight. I mean, but it's going to get them all prepared first before they become proper revolutionaries, as like Sabo requested. But yeah. So yeah, I do like how Carla continues to be the bit of the tsundere, getting mad at Sabo. How dare you keep us worried, not informing us and all that stuff, but Sabo, I'm so glad you're alive. But yeah, I really do like the tsundere aspect of Carla, but when it comes to Sabo at the very least, because I'm a sucker for tsunderes, so yeah, I love this relationship, whether or not it's platonic or romantic, either way. I just love the pair together. And we might have just seen Kola do the first type of fisherman karate and trying to kick him. But yeah, Sabo seems to be a lot more elusive than other idiots in the tsundere-like relationship and managed to avoid the attacks. But yeah, but it's interesting how he seemed to do three noises, which I think there might have been some hints in this earlier, but yeah, but either way, Sabo's just like not risking like what's he going on the transponder style, especially with the information he had to tell, which we're now getting to like Dragon. But before that, I do love how Morley's like Sabo, just jumping like the big goofy idiot. It's like ah. Now, granted, Sabo seems to be fine, probably due to his devil fruit ability being a Logia. But anyway, but it's interesting. I do like how Sabo's just going into a private meeting with them and all that, with Ivanko and Dragon, two of the founders of the Revolutionary Army, and just commenting about the fact that you couldn't really fully reunite with your third comrade with Kuma and all that stuff. Now Dragon's like, I'm just sorry I made you go through all the trouble, but speculates he might be programmed to return there. But I have a feeling that Kuma is probably going rogue right now and actually picking a fight with the government to try and to get them to lay off hands of their daughter. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And we'll have to see what's going to happen to Kuma. For all we know, he might end up being fully destroyed when trying to climb up to the Red Line, or when he arrives there or not. But we'll have to wait and see. Or he might actually try to fly towards Bonnie and maybe try and sacrifice his life to save her. We'll have to wait and see and all that stuff. But yeah. But Sabo's just getting to serious business that even he doesn't want all the captains and vice captains learning about us or any other officer because, well, Sabo realizes that given what happened to Lucia, it's maybe possible that you could be killed for learning this information, and is about to tell him everything. Now, I'm not going to comment what the next chapter is, but this gets many people speculating that we're going to get a flashback. But then again, some people remember how Oda teased 3 times before actually doing the sort of lore flashback with Koga and the Doflamingo. But something tells me, but who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised that okay, now that Sabo's back in the Revolutionary Army and here to tell him everything, now it's the time to do it, and we may finally find out what actually happened there. Who actually killed Koba? Will we see the revolutionaries fight the animals? All that stuff. How did they end up with Wapu, with Big News Morgans? All that stuff. Likely, this is what all this chapter is setting up for it. And blimey, this is arguably the 84th chapter in a row without chapter again. And either way, Oda's on the streak of this, and many ways it is awesome. And arguably, I'm hoping we get at least 2 or 3 chapters of let's see the Reveille flashback, just so we can get the gist of everything that goes down. But yeah, Sabo's just about to tell him everything. I'm just really looking forward to the action. For all we know, we might actually see a full-on appearance of Emu, depending on which translation, and see how Dragon and Ivankov react to that, thinking this is much worse than even we realized. But yeah, overall, I think this chapter is 8 to 9 out of 10. You've gotten we're starting to see the effects of Cross Guild with the death of T-Bone from innocent civilians. Sengoku and Tsuyu learning that Garp's gone to pick a fight with the Blackbeard pirates to rescue Kobe. Let's see just the Cross Guild and the general just the supporters going Buggy, praising him and all that stuff, but building stuff in his likeness this results in Buggy being beaten off. Learning that Crocodile still wants the Utopia thing. Buggy's goals are like wanting to be the Pirate King. The reason why he never joined Shanks, and we're sparking like everyone's ambitions to go after the One Piece, forcing Crocodile and Hawkeye, which will eventually lead him to like fighting Saw. So this is how we're going to get that fight done. This is how we're going to get all these characters involved, which I'm so glad that others had something planned for Crocodile for at least since he teased about him going to a new world and all that stuff. So yeah, he's really becoming a major player in each of their goals and all that stuff. But yeah, but of course, the Revolutionary Army reuniting with Sabo, learning the vice captains, survivors from the Alucia Kingdom with Moda, and just Sabo finally telling Dragon what happened and everything, since Dragon wants to get all the facts confirmed and all that stuff. And he's just about to learn probably the darkest secret of the world government. Overall, very good chapter, and I enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to reviewing the next chapter then. I hope everyone had enjoyed what I had to say in this chapter. And but yeah, just like and subscribe and all that stuff. And hopefully the next chapter I do will be on the day of its release, or at least the day after, or so on, but not too late, as I really don't want to be streaming and reviewing this late again. But yeah, but at the moment, that's all I have to say, folks. Thank you for enjoying. I am Blue Star Saber signing off. Goodbye, everyone, and see you next time.